The Zero drivers also prefer to fight in groups. But instead of pairs of fighters, their formations are based on groups of 3.
3 fighters that they called a show tie. They'd arrange these 3 fighters in a loose V formation or a staggered trail formation, and they quite often, each individual fighter might weave around so that they could check their rear more easily. They would normally combine 2 or 3 of these show tie together into a flight called a shoe tie. And just like the show tie element of 3 aircraft, they would arrange each show tie in a staggered trail or a loose V formation. Zeros typically escorted bombers from behind and high and trail, and they would attack in trail. So if they had the 3 fighters, they would peel off and come in consecutively, one after the other, for consecutive rear quarter attacks on the enemy. Then they would zoom back up above the enemy, come around and try another attack.
Like the Americans, once the Japanese are engaged in a fight, they prefer to stick together.
Normally they would pick 1 fighter, 1 target, and they would make individual attacks, but the 3 aircraft would try to stay together for mutual support. Defensively, if they were attacked, they would try to turn and make a head-on firing pass against the enemy. If the enemy was behind them, they would quite often make a very steep climbing turn that the attacker couldn't follow. And then they might also make a loop back over the top of the fighter and attack him from high and behind. Another favorite tactic was a steep zoom climb. They would climb up and the attacker wouldn't be able to follow them. The attacker would stall, fall off, and then the Zero would fall down on top of him and shoot him from the rear in the dive.
Unlike the Zero's groups of 3, P-38 formations are based on multiples of the standard U.S. element of 2 fighters.
P-38s in the Pacific at this time normally would fly in a flight of 4 aircraft, arranged in a finger 4 formation with the leader in the middle, his wingman to one side, and the second element of 2 to the other side. The finger 4, or the flight of 4, was composed of 2 flights of 2. They would normally combine 4 flights into a squadron formation of 16 fighters. Each flight would follow the flight in front about 2,000 feet, and they'd be stepped up, stacked high about 1,000 feet in front of the flight in front of them.
Whenever possible, these P-38 formations like to stay at high altitude.
We're talking 25,000 feet or higher to give them an altitude advantage over the enemy and also take advantage of their high altitude turbosupercharger performance. They would normally attack by flights of 4, and depending on the number of enemy, they may leave a flight high as a reserve in case it was needed later. They'd also typically leave a flight high for high cover to protect them against unexpected attacks.